Hi, I'm Amanda from LHL, and today I want to talk to you about the Minimalists game. So I played this in October with a friend of mine virtually, and I want to know, did I win? My friend and I have both been decluttering for a couple of years, and we thought we wanted to try this game because we'd heard about it later on in the process of decluttering and weren't sure if it would work for us. So we wanted to give it a shot. So down below you can find instructions and a link to the actual game rules as created by the Minimalists. We went with the classic method of on day one you picked one item to declutter, on day two you picked 2 items to declutter, and do that through the whole month. So for us it would have been 31 days. They have a tracker and I seem to have lost mine already. Otherwise I'd show you. I was tracking with a highlighter which days I completed, and both me and my friend actually got off. We started to get ahead because we couldn't stop at just one item. So we were building a couple days ahead, and I was traveling, so I needed to get ahead. Going into this challenge, I had a very specific objective. I wanted to accomplish decluttering electronics and my electronic files, because I know I have duplicates of things all over the place and it's stressing me out. All of my cloud devices are screaming at me that they're full, and I don't know if I actually have a copy of what I need, where I need it. And I know that that OneDrive, for instance, hasn't backed up for 5 years because it's been full that long. And it's full of old things that I don't use, I think from college even. And I've been out of college for over 10 years. Like, it's awful. It's really bad. So now my Google Drive is also screaming at me that it's full. I had a whole bunch of music CDs from my past that I wanted to deal with as well. So make them electronic copies or get rid of the ones that I know I'll never listen to again. But some of these were very sentimental to me from my whole past. I spent a lot of money on those as a teenager and I loved them. But I also don't listen to the same music as I do as a child, or did as a teenager even. Most of the music that I listen to now goes almost to like end of high school, beginning of college, and that's as far back as I like to listen to. So there's not a lot of need for me to hang on to old CDs. So anyway, this seemed like a great objective and a perfect time to tackle that through the men's challenge. And so I went ahead and started in on CDs. I did a little bit of research and found that MP3 files have data with them that WAV files do not, so that there's a good reason to have MP3 files. There's also only a minor quality difference, but the WAV files were actually the best quality music. And so I actually started ripping in both MP3 and WAV format so that I could get the best out of both worlds from my music. And I started this on day one. Obviously that was very easy. It didn't take very long to get both formats out, and one CD was down, check, we're good to go. I started getting into, day 11 maybe. About day 11, and it's like, this is really tedious. I've got to rip it twice to get both formats. And it just was quite reminiscent of the time when I was scanning all my documents when I first started with Marie Kondo's method. I was fearful of letting go of the paper, and so I was scanning all bank records at the time. And they were 10 years old, so I didn't need to scan them. But that fear kept me from doing it the easy way. And this was starting to become reminiscent of that. I knew on many of these CDs I only had 1 or 2 tracks that I actually loved and wanted to listen to moving forward, or would ever listen to moving forward. And still, I was burning the whole CD. And I was doing it in 2 formats, which was just very tedious by day 11, right? I had to do essentially 22 different tasks for each one. And I still kept doing it. We were good. I kept going into the 20s, and about day 27, I learned the lesson that I already had learned, and I had to learn it again the hard way. So my hard drive crashed. I had been ripping all of this music to an existing hard drive that already had data from a previously recovered drive that was networked and used on both Mac and Apple. Some of the files on that had become corrupted and I had to have it recovered. It cost me $600 to do that the first time. And a lot of the files that I really wanted off of it were they were the corrupted files. I couldn't retrieve them even with the recovery. So here I've already destroyed yet another hard drive with not just all the music that I had ripped, but everything that was on there from a previous recovery. So frustrating. It's heartbreaking. So I'm faced with the situation of, do I start all over again? Because I do still have the physical CDs. I hadn't donated anything yet. Is it worth starting all over again and doing all of that just to catch up to the day I was supposed to be on? Or is it time to accept the truth that it's not worth my time to rip this music? So it was a hard decision. Honestly, it was. My gut just wanted to keep every album that I'd ever collected through my whole life, and it didn't sit right with me. I knew better. The truth is that you're better off just letting things go. It saves you so much time, and you really don't go back to that music. I knew I hadn't been going back to most of that music. So I made the decision to go ahead and part with all the easy ones that I knew I didn't really care for that music anymore, and it wasn't a huge part of my history either. And I let all those go. And then I went into the music that I wanted 1 or 2 songs out of. And I looked through, and I had previously ripped some music on another hard drive. I found some music, and I had the stuff that I liked on there. So I went ahead and parted with all of those as well. And I limited it down to a small collection of CDs that I actually feel not just attached to the music itself, but also the artwork in the album. Like it represents a part of my life. And I held on to those for now. And there's still music that I like to every once in a while go back to. And some of it is kind of hard to find online, actually. So that's what I ended up with on the CDs. But by this point, I'm already days behind on the men's challenge. Both me and my friends stopped sharing what we got rid of in each day, and we kind of stopped counting for the most part. I was counting. I think she stopped counting, and just would take a picture of the pile of things that she'd gone through. And I took her word for it that it was that number. I think it was. She did more on most days. And so it's like, what do I do? What do I do? So then I switched to doing email, and I started tackling email, and I was dropping hundreds and hundreds of emails over the course of a couple of days. So I definitely got rid of more items electronically than I was supposed to in 31 days. And I unsubscribed from new mail. However, you're always subscribing all the time, and this is more of a maintenance thing than a project thing. But I got huge benefits out of it. I dropped several thousand emails, and I kept the screenshots, although I've lost those now too. But I cut my email down from 5,000 in the inbox to 1,000. But I didn't tackle the core piece that I wanted to, which was all of the duplicate electronic files across all my hard drives. But since I'd started in CDs, I wasn't really going to be able to finish that part of the project during the challenge anyway. So I did let go of a lot of burdensome sentimental items that I've been lugging around that took a lot of space. I mean, in all, I had probably 3 square feet worth of CDs stacked 15 to 20 high. And I was able to get rid of them. I even got some money for them. And I also got rid of a ton of email, which was stressing me out. So it was highly beneficial to do, though the process is not natural to me. I'm more of a project-oriented declutterer, if you will. And so having to do just a little bit each day was much harder, plus not being home for a good chunk of that month. Me and my friend both stopped tracking and stopped sharing our progress. Did either of us win the men's game? Did I win because I did track to the end but didn't share? I don't know. Either way, it was beneficial, and I highly suggest you check out the link below to the men's game or the Minimalists game and try it yourself, see what you think. But definitely pick a month where you're home every single day that month. It'll make it go a lot smoother. Thank you. If you liked this video, feel free to check out more on other methods that I've used to declutter, specific rooms I've decluttered, and different organizational solutions for different spaces. That's all in my YouTube channel, as well as the blog at lighterhappierliving.com. Thank you. Bye.